Hey, my fellow minor league nerds! The next season of our regular history episodes isn't scheduled to begin until the first week of April. But in honor of Black History Month, we wanted to tell a couple of stories about the integration of minor league baseball. This episode will cover the 1946 Nashua Dodgers of the Class B New England League, who were the first integrated team in the United States in the 20th century. Whenever the subject of the integration of baseball comes up, people automatically think of Jackie Robinson, and rightfully so. He was the first black player to play in the major leagues, something that is often credited with sparking the civil rights movement in the United States. The struggles he endured and how he handled them are very well known by baseball fans. But there are other important stories that are not as well known. One of those is the story of Don Newcomb and Roy Campanella playing for the Nashua Dodgers in the Class B New England League in 1946, the same year that Jackie Robinson played for the AAA Montreal Royals. The New England League had existed off and on from 1892 to 1933. It returned as a semi-pro league playing from 1941 to 1945, with most players in the league being assigned to nearby military bases. Minor league baseball was devastated by World War II. In 1940, there were 44 leagues across the United States and Canada. 2 leagues were lost before the start of the 1942 season, with that number dropping to only 9 in 1943, as potential players were drafted into military service. Most of the surviving leagues represented larger cities in the US and Canada, as many smaller towns and cities lost their teams. When the war was over, people across both countries were starved for baseball, leading to an explosion of leagues. Many that were shut down due to the war returned, with many new ones being organized. In 1946, the number of leagues shot up to 52. One of those new leagues was the New England League, a league in which the Brooklyn Dodgers planned on fielding a team. Branch Rickey, who was credited with creating the framework of the modern minor league farm system while working for the St. Louis Cardinals, had been serving as the president and general manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers since 1943. At the end of 1945, he contacted Emil J. Buzzy Bavasi, who had served as an executive in the Dodgers organization before being drafted. During the war, he fought in the Italian campaign, winning a Bronze Star. Bavasi was resting in Georgia after returning home from Europe, with Rickey tasking him to search for a suitable city in which to place a team in the New England League. Rickey had just signed Jackie Robinson to a contract, with the American pastime finally including All-Americans. After his signing, it was announced that he would be assigned to the Montreal Royals of the AAA International League. Bavasi knew that Rickey had planned on signing other African-American ball players and assumed that the New England League team would probably be an integrated club. This led to him to search for a community that had a large French-Canadian population and a racially progressive newspaper that would back the team. He found both in Nashua, New Hampshire. It was believed that French Canadians would be more accepting of black players. Bavasi was able to fully achieve the backing of the Nashua Telegraph by hiring the paper's editor, Fred Dobbins, to be the team's president. At the time, Nashua only had a population of approximately 34,000, making it the smallest city in the New England League. Less than 50 African Americans lived there at the time. Bavasi was able to negotiate a lease to play at the city-owned Holman Stadium, a WPA project that opened in 1937. It was a very modern ballpark that seated about 2,500. The seats ran from third base to first base side with no bleachers. Like other ballparks in the league, it was enormous, measuring 450 feet to straightaway center. Bavasi's assumption turned out to be correct. By the middle of March, Rickey had signed both Roy Campanella and Don Newcomb. Campanella was a 5'11", 24-year-old mixed-race catcher who was born in Philadelphia to an African-American mother and a father who was the son of Italian immigrants. He began playing baseball at the age of 15 with the Washington Elite Giants of the Second Negro National League, just playing on weekends. After turning 16, he dropped out of high school in order to play baseball full-time. He continued to play for the team after they moved to Baltimore, becoming a star player for them. Newcomb was a pitcher born in Madison, New Jersey, and raised in Elizabeth. He began his career in 1944, playing for the Newark Eagles, also of the Negro National League. The long-held story is that Ricky's original plan was to assign the two to the Danville Dodgers of the Class B, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, or the 3I League. But Danville's general manager believed that the league was not ready for integration. So instead, they were sent to Bevis in Nashua, who gladly accepted the two. In the book, The New England League, A Baseball History by Charlie Bevis, the author contends that assigning the two to Nashua was always the plan, and that the Danville story was just made up by Ricky. Whatever the case, their assignment to Nashua wasn't announced until April 4th. The delay was to give Bevis enough time to fuse the team into the Nashua community. Upon the announcement of them joining the team, Bevis said, "If we can find players within a 10-mile radius of Nashua who are as good as Campanella and Newcomb, then we don't want Roy and Don. But if they can play better than what we have, we don't care what color they are." One of Bevis's plans to promote the team and to get local fans to connect with it quickly was to have local World War II veterans try out for the team. He also made signing French-Canadian players a top priority. When it came to signing a manager, he looked to sign former major leaguer Frenchy Bordigare, but he was assigned to Brooklyn's Class C club, the Trois-Rivières Royals of the Can-Am League. He then looked to sign Jake Pittler, who had played 14 seasons of pro ball and had been managing in the Dodgers system since 1939. Bevis decided against him, feeling that Pittler might not be able to handle some of the issues that could arise from managing a racially integrated team. Eventually, he settled on Walter Alston. He played 13 seasons of professional baseball, but only had one major league at-bat with the St. Louis Cardinals in 1936. He began managing in the minors for the Cardinals in 1940. He joined the Dodgers farm system managing Trenton of the Interstate League in 1944 and 1945. After Nashua, he would go on to manage Brooklyn's AAA teams, the St. Paul Saints, and the Montreal Royals, before being promoted to manage the Dodgers in 1954, moving with the team to Los Angeles in 1958, holding the post until 1976. He currently holds the record for the most wins as a Dodgers manager at 2,040. In 1983, he was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Alston would actually later help break down barriers for female sports reporters. After the Dodgers defeated the Houston Astros to win the 1974 National League West Division title, he invited journalist Anita Martini into the locker room for the post-game press conference after she had initially been denied entry. It was the first time a woman was allowed in any major league locker room. Alston led a young team, with the average age being 24. Early in the season, he warned his players that he would not put up with any racism on the team. He had so much respect for Roy Campanella that he stated if he were ever rejected from a game, Campanella would take over for him. Jackie Robinson, Roy Campanella, and Don Newcomb were all scouted by Clyde Sukeforth for the Dodgers. He was from New England, having grown up in Maine. Bevis used this connection to also help promote the Nashua Dodgers' ties to their parent club. Sukeforth played 64 games for the Nashua Millionaires of the New England League in 1926. He later played a pivotal role in the Pittsburgh Pirates drafting Roberto Clemente from the Dodgers during the 1954 Rule 5 draft. Nashua opened its season on May 8th playing the Lynn Red Sox at Frazier Field in Lynn, Massachusetts. Roy Campanella was placed fourth in the lineup and went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. One of his hits was a 430-foot solo home run in the 8th inning. Unfortunately, Nashua came up short and lost the game 7-4. The Dodgers' home opener the following day against Lynn was rained out. They picked up their first victory of the season on May 10th when they blanked the Pawtucket Slaters 3-0. Don Newcomb earned the victory, the first by an African-American pitcher in an integrated game. He pitched all 9 innings, giving up 7 hits, striking out 5, walking 3, and hitting 1. Campanella was behind the plate, making he and Newcomb the first all-African-American battery in the minors. More history was made on June 15th. Manager Walt Alston was ejected during a game against the Lawrence Millionaires. True to his word, Campanella took over, leading the team to a come-from-behind 7-5 victory, making him the first African-American to manage in the majors or the minors. It would be another 29 years until Frank Robinson would manage the Cleveland Indians in 1975. At the end of July, Nashua was in second place with a 53-32 record, 7 games behind Lynn. It took the team a little while to get going, with them playing just above average baseball the first 2 months of the season. Attendance started off well, but dipped in June when fans weren't sure if they were going to be a good team. But when the Dodgers did eventually get hot, the fans came out in droves. They were eventually averaging about 3,000 fans a game, which is about 1/10 the population of Nashua. Attendance was also high in other cities whenever the Dodgers came to town. The other teams in the league needed to hold campaigns or special nights throughout the season in order to stimulate attendance or raise funds to keep the teams afloat, but not Nashua. They ended the season by splitting a doubleheader with the Lynn Red Sox, losing the first game 10-3 and winning the second 13-3. They finished the season in second place with an 80-41 record, a game and a half behind the Lynn Red Sox, with the top 4 teams making the playoffs. In the first round, Nashua swept the Pawtucket Slaters in 3 straight games. Don Newcomb got the victory in the series clinching game, only allowing the Slaters to get 5 hits. Lynn swept the Manchester Giants in the other series, setting up the Governor's Cup between Nashua and Lynn. Games between the 2 teams during the regular season were scraps. Lynn actually no-hit Nashua on May 26, defeating them 4-0. The last 2 months of the season saw the 2 teams battling it out for first. Nashua went on to defeat the pennant winners 4-2 to bring home the Governor's Cup. Roy Campanella had a fantastic series, going 8 for 22, finishing with a .363 average, driving in 6 and hitting 1 home run. Don Newcomb went 1-1 in the series. In the regular season, Campanella hit .290 with 19 doubles, 8 triples, and 16 stolen bases. He led the team with 13 homers and 96 RBIs and was named the team MVP. Don Newcomb finished 14-4 with a 2.21 ERA in 26 games with 19 starts. He had 15 complete games, gave up 79 walks, and struck out 104. During the season, Nashua's management would not put up with any racist actions against the 2 players. They would only stay at hotels or eat at restaurants where Roy and Don were welcome. Fortunately, there weren't too many issues throughout the season. The fans in Nashua had no issues with Campanella or Newcomb being on the team. In fact, both players said fans were warm and welcoming, going out of their way to make sure the 2 knew they were welcomed in Nashua. Many fans would invite both players over for dinner, with some being upset they were unable to get them over due to their popularity and the team's schedule. It got to the point that whenever either stepped onto the field, fans would cheer their mere presence. If there ever was an issue with players or fans, like Jackie Robinson, Campanella and Newcomb could not fight back no matter how much they wanted to. But their teammates and fans would gladly step in and handle the situation. The Lynn Red Sox and their manager, Pip Kennedy, were the only team to really have any issues with the two. Kennedy rode them both most of the season, calling them all sorts of names. Some of their fans were even said to have used the word against both Roy and Don. The biggest incident between the two teams saw Buzzy Bavasi go after Kennedy after he used the racist word to describe the two. There's conflicting stories about how and where it happened, but there is no doubt that the incident did indeed happen. The only other notable incident took place during a game against Manchester when Giants catcher Sal Yevars threw dirt in Campanella's face, leading to Campanella to confront him, threatening to break him in half if he ever did it again. Yevars, though, denied the incident took place. In an article we found in the Daily Worker, a Dodgers fan sort of backed up Yevars. According to her, the dirt tossing incident did indeed take place, but she didn't think it had anything to do with Campanella's skin color, but more due to frustration over calls that Campy was receiving that Yevars wasn't. No matter the reason why it happened, Nashua's fans went wild with anger, according to her, with many threatening to run on the field to confront him. At the beginning of the season, a local farmer offered 100 chicks for each homer hit by a Nashua player. Roy Campanella ended up with 1,300, while Don Newcomb ended up with 200. Both ended up sending their chicks to Roy's father, who raised them, as neither player had a place in Nashua for them. One amusing story we came across while researching this episode involved Campanella and Newcomb getting a haircut in Nashua. The barber they went to freely admitted he had never cut an African-American man's hair before, but the two decided to give him a shot. Newcomb later recalled with a laugh at just how bad the haircut was, but appreciated the man's efforts and honesty. Their cuts were so bad that the two decided to just let the barber shave their heads. In 1947, Roy Campanella was promoted to AAA Montreal, where he spent the entire season. He began the 1948 season with the Brooklyn Dodgers, but eventually found himself spending most of his time on the bench. He was later sent down to the AAA St. Paul Saints of the American Association, where he broke that league's color barrier. He did so well in his 35 games that he was recalled to the Dodgers in July, going on to have 10 incredible seasons with the team. Sadly, his career was cut short due to an automobile accident on January 28, 1958. While driving to his Long Island home in Glen Cove, New York, from a liquor store he owned in Harlem, his car hit a patch of ice on an S-curve, skidding into a telephone pole, overturning and breaking his neck, leaving him paralyzed from the shoulders down. Thanks to physical therapy, he was able to regain the use of his arms and hands, being able to feed himself, shake hands, and gesture while speaking. But he spent the remainder of his life in a wheelchair. He was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1969. He passed away from heart failure at the age of 71 on June 26, 1993, at his home in Woodland Hills, California. Don Newcomb returned to Nashua in 1948, where once again he had a great season, leading Nashua to another second-place finish and a second Governor's Cup title after they defeated Manchester 4-2. He went 19-6 with a 2.91 ERA while appearing in 29 games with 27 starts and 24 complete games, striking out 186 batters. In 1948, he was promoted to AAA Montreal, where he went 17-6 with a 3.14 ERA in 37 games, of which 27 were starts, with 16 complete games and 144 strikeouts. While playing for Nashua in 1947, he stayed with a white family, which was incredibly progressive for the time. As he later pointed out, the family had a daughter, but the color of his skin didn't matter. He had dinner with the family, sleeping in one of their beds, with there never being an issue. When the team put out an advertisement saying that they were looking for places for their players to stay, the couple called the Dodgers specifically requesting he stay with them. During that season, frustration kicked in for Newcomb, as he felt he was better than Class B ball and wanted to be promoted so he could face better challenges and make more money. Unbeknownst to him, Ricky did not think rushing several minority players through the Dodgers system all at once was a wise move, knowing the potential problems that could arise. So, promotions were staggered. Unfortunately, though, Newcomb was not informed of this plan. His thinking was that if he was white, he would have been promoted to Montreal in 1947. All Ricky told him was that they were going to do it his way. If Newcomb didn't like it, then he could go home. He eventually made his debut with the Brooklyn Dodgers on May 20th, 1949, having another incredible season. He went 17-8 with a 3.17 ERA in 38 games with 31 starts, throwing 19 complete games with 149 strikeouts and 73 walks. He became the first pitcher in Major League history to win the Rookie of the Year, Most Valuable Player, and Cy Young awards during his career. The achievement would not be matched until 2011 when Justin Verlander of the Detroit Tigers, who won the Rookie of the Year in 2006, also won the Cy Young and MVP awards. Newcomb would play pro ball through 1962, missing the 1952 and 1953 seasons due to military service. He ended his career with the Chunichi Dragons of the Central League in Japan. He battled alcoholism in the 1950s and 1960s, once describing himself as a stupefied, wife-abusing, child-frightening, falling-down drunk. His drinking got so bad that in 1965, he pawned his 1955 World Series ring just to buy alcohol. He eventually quit drinking in 1966 after his second wife threatened to leave him. Afterwards, he went on to help numerous people battle their own substance abuses, including military personnel and former Dodgers teammate Maury Wills. Don Newcomb passed away at the age of 92 on February 19, 2019. The Nashua Dodgers would win a third straight Governor's Cup in 1948 by once again defeating the Lynn Red Sox. The 1949 New England League began with 8 clubs, but fell to only 4 by the middle of July. Nashua would not make the postseason, with the league and team not returning in 1950. Today, Holman Field is used by the Nashua Silver Knights of the Futures Collegiate Baseball League. The ballpark is one of the sites on the Black Heritage Trail of New Hampshire. Banners of Roy Campanella and Don Newcomb greet fans at the entrance of the ballpark. Both have had their uniform numbers memorialized on the outfield wall, along with Jackie Robinson. A mural of the two is also on the side of the Maynard and Leisure building, paying tribute to the two legends who were welcomed by the city and their teammates with open arms. The story of the Nashua Dodgers is not really well known. If fans in the city and throughout the rest of the league had not accepted them, showering them with boos and racist chants, or if players had refused to play against them, then everyone would know this story. But that wasn't the case. Fans in Nashua accepted Roy Campanella and Don Newcomb. Both were welcomed, cheered, and embraced. Other than a couple of incidents, the players in the New England League had no issues with either of them, proving all that matters was if they could play ball. Well, my fellow minor league nerds, that'll do it for this episode. We do hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you're not doing so already, be sure to follow us on all our social media pages: Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Facebook. Also be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel or the podcast platform of your choice to be notified whenever a new episode is released. Until next time, stay safe and remember to never stop supporting minor league baseball and never stop learning about minor league baseball history.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media: Hi, this is Ed Rivera of the Dad Hat Chronicles. Join me as I interview people just like you and players, coaches, GMs on the path that led you to become a fan of the sport.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean, and I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey everyone, it's Eric from the great state of Kansas.
This is Johnny from the New Orleans Baby Cakes Memorial Museum.
And we are the Earn Fun Average podcast,
where we talk to a variety of guests about their love of baseball and have fun doing it.
America, lower your standards.
Average is what we do best.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball, so get on the site and find a team near you today.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at @PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
Learn more about Curve Brim Media at curvebremmedia.com.